Howdy, this is Fred, and today we are home again at the Atlanta Civic Center. Now this place has quite a bit of history here in the city and with me personally, and we're going to talk about all of that in this segment. Now, let's get this out of the way first of all. You've probably driven by this sign and saw the name that was added to the Atlanta Civic Center, and you probably wondered, who is this person? Why was his name added? And most importantly, how do you pronounce that? Well, so I did a little research because I wanted to find out the answers to those questions myself. So first of all, let's work on the pronunciation. Now the formal pronunciation for Mr. Jones's first name, let me look at my notes here, is Wafouye, which I believe is French, or at least it sounds French. He himself preferred to pronounce it Beaufilet, and he was known to his close friends as simply Beau. And some of his acquaintances gave him the name B. Jones. Now, his name was added to the sign to honor his support of the arts in Atlanta, as well as many of his philanthropic efforts. So that's how the addition to the sign came to be. Now, the Civic Center was built in 1967, which means it's only 1 year younger than me. Anyway, for the longest time, it was kind of the crown jewel of performing arts centers here in Atlanta. It hosted many events, graduation ceremonies, concerts, conferences, you name it. And unfortunately, it lost a little bit of its luster when the restoration efforts of the Fox Theater came to completion, and it stole quite a bit of thunder from the Civic Center. It did keep thriving for many years until the early 2000s, and that's when the Civic Center started to lose a little bit of its ground here in the city as a performing arts center, and it was finally shut down in 2014. Now, I have quite a few really nice personal memories involving the Atlanta Civic Center. My high school graduation ceremony was held here. When the first touring company of the Lion King hit Atlanta, this is where they performed it, and I saw it here. When Patti LaBelle, Nona Hendrix, and Sarah Dash did their reunion tour to support the album that they recorded, they performed here at the Civic Center. As a matter of fact, I do remember it's kind of funny, Patti LaBelle really made it known about her dissatisfaction with the backstage facility. She let the whole audience know that night that she was not happy. That was funny, and she only did it in the way that only Patti LaBelle can. Other events that I've attended that were held here, out on the parking lot of the Civic Center, one year the Atlanta Pride Festival was held here, and also Music Midtown, so I got to enjoy those things in the Civic Center parking lot. And I even got to perform on the stage of the Civic Center when I attended Dragon Con with Netherspawn, the crew from Netherworld Haunted House, back when I used to work there back in the day. In later years, this annex right here was added to the grounds of the Atlanta Civic Center. This was Civic, the Science and Technology Museum. It was open for a few years. Unfortunately, I never got to go to it while it was open. It shut down in 2004 and it was converted into an event space. Now, I did get to work there at two events that were held here. The America I Am exhibit and the King Tut exhibit were both held here in the facility. And I worked on the staff when those two exhibits came through. So I at least got to see the inside of the building, even though I never got to see it when it was sidetracked. So now let's take a quick slideshow and see some pictures of this Atlanta Civic Center from some of its glory days. You can get to see just how luxurious and beautifully designed this place was. So let's take a quick look. Now, as far as the future of the Atlanta Civic Center, it's kind of up in the air yet again. There have been many plans gone back and forth over the years since it was shut down and fenced off. As a matter of fact, as recently as the spring of 2022, earlier this year, there were plans spearheaded by the Atlanta Housing Authority to convert this into a mixed-use living, entertainment, and shopping space. But those plans kind of backfired when the developer backed out of the project. So unfortunately, the future of the Atlanta Civic Center is in limbo yet again. But hopefully something good will come of it. It's a really great space. It would be a shame to see it just totally go to waste. So hopefully, we'll keep an eye out and see what happens here at the Bo Jones Atlanta Civic Center. For now, this is Fred, and we are home again.